Dot 2.0. Speakers: Eric Ju-Yoon Kim, co-founder and CEO at Dot Inc. Ki Kwang Sung, co-founder and CBDO, Dot Inc. Moderator: Dr. Nicholas Giudice, founder and chief research scientist, University of Maine.
Thanks, Alice, and hello. Welcome to everybody tuning in today. My name is Nicholas Giudice, and we'll be hearing about what's been happening with the DotPad since they were here at PsychTech Global last year. So, excitingly, for me at least, I was recently able to get my hands on one of the DotPad units and put it through its paces, and I'll say I was definitely impressed, and I don't say that just because I'm moderating this session. I'm actually difficult to impress. I'm a researcher who does a lot of work in the domain of tactile technologies. I'm also a blind user who uses a lot of tech in my daily life, and I have a pretty good sense of what works and what's hype. And after working with and playing with this unit for a while, it's definitely the real deal. I'm really excited about what it means for the next era of tactile access, especially for graphics. I see all kinds of applications in terms of blind folks in education and work and navigation and different types of social engagement. So let's get on and hear about the cool stuff from our panel. So we have Eric, the CEO, and Ki, the CDO at Dot, with us today. Hey, both. Welcome.
Nick, thanks for having us.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of cool stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This is Ki. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of great stuff to talk about. Let's jump right into it. Why don't you just start by giving us an update about what's been going on with the DotPad since last year?
I think first Ki can give some software updates, and I'll do some hardware updates.
Yeah. So my name is Ki. I'm a co-founder at Dot. So today I'd love to give you some little bit more updates about the software and also integration of the DotPad with other screen readers. Basically, recently we have collaborated with many screen reader softwares, including NVDA, and we are also talking with JAWS to integrate our software. And also we're working with Google people to integrate the DotPad with Chrome OS, and also, of course, Apple VoiceOver. So today, I'm really excited about giving you more clues about our collaborations with all screen reader softwares. And also, we have an update with the generative AI APIs. So we are integrating our software with the generative AI APIs to generate the tactile graphics and also converting images into tactile graphics.
Yeah, we'll dig into a little bit more of that. That's very exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and also like Ki mentioned, we have a lot of software collaboration and software updates, but also we have a lot of hardware improvements. So, just imagine tactile graphic display as a monitor. Of course, in our world, there are different sizes of monitors. So we have right now 4 different sizes of DotPad. So the largest one is 832 cells. So you can imagine it's more than 6,000 cells. And the small one is with 16 cells. So it's really comfortable. The current, kind of standard version that we have right now is 320 cells, which has more than 2,400 pins, braille pins. So like this, we are really working hard to present different sizes for different purpose. For example, like for developers, we saw a lot of needs about when developers do the coding, they want to see in more bigger screen and some of like creative purpose too, collaboration with designers and developers, they also want a very big screen. And, not just different sizes, we have upcoming next tactile cells. It's third generation, so we call D3 cell. Right now, the current version we have is D2 cell, which is second version. And the D3 cell, is amazingly fast. So it became more than 10 times faster than what we have right now. So we expect with this speed and with this refresh rate, we believe we can even put some of the video contents or like games or sports games. So it's gonna be more and more dynamic. Of course, there is some gaps. When you feel tactile on your through your fingers, of course you need some time to familiar with it. But we believe that we right now have a fundamental technology that we can put a lot of diverse contents, includes like more dynamic contents like videos. So we're so excited, like so many entertainment related thing like games and you know um exciting thing could happen. So we're really excited.
Let me follow up on that, because this is one of the limitations I feel of most displays that have been out there. This kind of the refresh rate, it's really difficult to make these cells refresh the screen in a way that is kind of, it's okay for static images, but it's really slow for anything that's dynamic. And so these D3 cells that you're talking about, they're not in the units yet, but they're coming. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And
So
they're going to be like 10 times faster, if I'm hearing you correctly?
exactly. So it's 10 times faster. Yeah, the development has finished. So right now we're working on the production side. So we are planning production, some of the test production really soon. But the actual device will be possible a little bit later. So, but this is coming. Development has, yeah.
Well, that's cool, because that was one of the limitations when I was using this, where it was, you get a graphic to come up and it would take a while to come up, and I know that that's kind of the normal practice, but it's frustrating. So that's really cool to hear. Can you speak a little bit more about in the different incarnations and the different sizes of the products? Is the resolution, the tactile resolution of the cells the same in terms of pin density, pin spacing, and these types of things?
Yes, we know there is a Braille standard, so we are right now following that. So basically, on DotPad, one of our core principle is we need to put Braille and also graphic at the same time with existing standard format. So it's same, but in the future we believe that the dot can be more dense, so it can present more specific information or delicate information. But also we believe it's gonna be a 3D format, so it's gonna be more, you can actually feel the scale of the contents and colors. Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying ultimately your goal is to have different dot heights?
Exactly.
Oh, great. Yeah, I mean, one of the things when I saw it, when I was using it in the version pad I was working with, it had a one-line Braille display. So I thought that was going to be only where the Braille was, and it was cool to see the Braille on the main graphics part of the display integrated with the graphics, because obviously that's what you need to do in the real world. But other units that I've seen can't, they only can do Braille on the dedicated display. And so I thought that's, obviously something that's people are going to want. My question here was, so you mentioned the screen reader access, and I was able to connect and do some work testing with NVDA, which worked well. And it was really cool to see the multi-line Braille on the big part of the display. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. And then once I was using it, I'm like, oh, wow, my one-line display kind of stinks. But so far that doesn't work with graphics. So I'm assuming that's something that you're working on. I'm wondering when do you imagine having full screen reader integration where you'd be able to access the graphics and the text on the same display?
I think he can answer that.
Yeah, basically we are collaborating with many screen reader softwares, but the firstly Apple and VoiceOver, we have integrated our DotPad with the VoiceOver software so far, and then they put the official the software on the public like 1 year and a half ago, 1 year and a half years ago, and so basically VoiceOver the official software, they support the DotPad in the accessibility, the VoiceOver setting, and actually when we turn on the VoiceOver, we can actually see the DotPad to display the graphics, and also NVDA. So basically not only the VoiceOver iOS, but also like the Windows OS screen readers, such as JAWS and NVDA. So we are talking with JAWS, and we are collaborating with JAWS, NVDA right now, and it's gonna be done by by early next year, around January, February, so we can actually see the multi-line at this moment, and we can actually see the spatial information, including tactile graphics, by February next year.
Excellent. I had a fun time in the voiceover, using voiceover, playing with the emojis, because I always hear there's an emoji in my text or something, but I have no idea what they look like. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about the AI layer? Because I think this is that API is really cool, and it's obviously I've done some work in this area, segmenting a graphical content, converting the visual image to a tactile output, which is a much lower bandwidth modality. It's just hard. So I'm interested, what can you say about how the AI is facilitating this process? How is it working?
Well, I think, it started with the fundamental problems, like right after we started this project, we realized there are not many standards or UI, UX examples, or even like there was no standardized contents. So we felt so hard, because, especially there are no, kind of a pre-research about this area. So, of course, there are, some researches that we used it as a reference, but certainly there's not many contents. So we thought that if we could actually use AI to generate specific information, especially graphic and image information for blind people in tactile format, and if you can train AI, in more, I would say, better and better, in terms of feeling on your fingers. So for example, at first we started with transferring images in existing format to tactile. We used AI on that purpose, but right now we are researching very hard how can we use AI to blind people type it or say something, and AI could actually generate tactile images exactly for that purpose. So
make a circle type, something like that. Make a picture of a dog, something like that.
yes, simple images to complicated images, or even creative images, and maybe Venn diagram or charts too.
So are you using proprietary AI algorithms that you're developing, or are you using open source APIs, or how are you doing this?
So basically, we are using open source AI APIs. So image generative AI, and also so we actually use different two APIs. Like one is generative AI to create simple images and graphics, and also we use different API to convert that simple image into tactile graphics. So we combine together so that basically outcome would be when we type something in text, such as lion or giraffe, then outcome will be automatically translated into tactile graphics on the dot pad display.
I mean, one thing that you hit on that really is needed is more standards in this area. And it would be great to get if companies and researchers and other people could come together and specify something that people could use, because it is a huge limitation of people working in, in graphical, accessible graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Another part that I found cool was this, I believe it's called the Dot Canvas app. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about that. This is where you could kind of tweak and manipulate the images or draw on a tablet and iPad. I think you have Android support coming. And then the output is rendered on the display. So it's kind of like a paint kind of, but it was neat because I could actually draw on the iPad and then feel what I drew on the dot pad.
Yeah. So that canvas, that is the one, the first dot own software for the dot pad. And as you mentioned, it's like PowerPoint for the dot pad usage. So you can draw something, you can put some the shapes and figures on the canvas. And so if you type something, it will automatically translate it into Braille and then display it on the canvas. So you can display on the iPad as well. And one good thing about the that canvas is you can also upload any image or PDF file on that canvas. So image can be translated into tactile graphics and then displayed on the that pad display. And also any PDF file can be also translated into multi-line text Braille display on that canvas.
I think also one very cool thing is it's interactive. So the canvas can be connected with multi dot pads, like 10 dot pads, for example. And you can imagine like you can do the presentation. So you have your images and data on the canvas, and you can send it simultaneously to 10 dot pads. So if you have people that want to share real-time information, it can be really, really interactive. You can put some label on it, or we can change the graph shapes. So it's really kind of a new communication, more professional communication tools that we are imagining. And also we have the share functionality, so like a Google Drive or iCloud. So on Dot Drive, you can share your works with other people. So we already saw a lot of professionals are sharing their contents. For example, like some science teachers actually worked on how to explain the shapes of the suns, in different time. So we are very excited. The users are already sharing a lot of professional tactile and Braille contents on Canvas.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine in a classroom having a teacher, as you said, a colleague, doing something, having it shared in real time. I mean, that's the huge problem, right? And I think we'll get to this because you've also talked about books, but often when you have to get a book made into Braille or a tactile equivalent, not only is it really expensive, but it takes months. And so being able to do this in real time is huge.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
As a researcher, myself, and I know there's other people probably listening here that use tactile technology and are interested in how this could be used. I'm interested in your kind of views on how this relates to research, but specifically also how it. One problem I noticed that isn't just related to research, but to graphical manipulation and graphical, how you can do translations of graphics on the screen. So, for instance, zooming and panning. When you have a large image, I do some work with large format maps, and on the one hand, the dot pad seemed like a great way to show maps, but I couldn't figure out how to get anything to zoom in a way that was useful. Is that something that you're working on, or where is that at?
So basically, in the dot canvas, we don't really support the zoom in and out functionality of the images because that is static the canvas like a PowerPoint. So they basically when they have different information, complex images, then they create different slides of the images and graphics to tell the story for the education. But at the same time, we are adding those zoom in and out and navigate image functionality in NVDA screen reader integration. So when we have the images and graphics on the Windows OS PC, then the NVDA screen reader can go to any images and graphics. And also we're supporting zoom in and out the functionality to make it abstract version or specific version, detailed version of the image. So the people can navigate through the graphics.
Oh, so like hard coded zooming almost.
Yeah. So
I mean, it makes it, yeah.
Yeah, basically what we want to do is we want to show the whole layout of the screen information first, and then when they focus on the specific elements, then it will show the detailed information out of that.
And I would imagine the type of graphic makes a difference. So I mean, it's much easier to figure out how to zoom on something like an SVG than a fixed, PNG or something.
Yes.
One thing that I kept thinking about when I was using the system was how useful it would be if it supported some kind of bidirectional kind of input and output functions on the device. So instead of just being more of an output display, imagine if I could touch the cells directly and draw on the display or click on something on the display. And I know that that's something that it's one of the big benefits that people talk about with the the competing graffiti device that is exciting to people. And I'm just wondering, is that anything that you could imagine being adopted into the dot cells in the future?
Well, I think you mean the touching, I mean touchable, right?
Touchable, yeah, and having it be touch sensitive.
Exactly. So I think for that part, right now we are doing that with the HumanWare and APH on Monarch device. So on Monarch,
okay,
yeah, on Monarch, it can actually trigger fingers. So you can use your fingers to navigate contents, and it can actually know where your fingers are on the tactile screen. So Monarch is the most advanced device that with the partnership we are working on. So on that device is already possible, and I think in the in near future there will be diverse way of using your kind of touch on tactile screen. There are diverse ways to do it, but right now we are using the razor sensor to track fingers. Yeah. There's some of pros and cons, but that's the best way that we can do right now. So we are working on that.
So can you briefly, because I know some people, including myself, apparently are a little bit confused between the dot pad and the Monarch. I know that your technology is underlying both, but what's the fundamental difference?
Well, I think the fundamental difference is first of all the size. So Monarch is 480 cells, and it is specifically designed for a textbook, so for K-12 education. APH has a great mission and vision to actually digitalize all the textbook for students in the world, of course in the US first. So it's different size and different functionality. It has also own OS. So it's more, I would say, complete device. And I think the dot pad is more like a screen, monitors that can be used in diverse purpose researches, in your professional careers, or in your home for entertainment. So, with DotPad, we would like to, find a lot of potentials as much as we can. So, for example, right now, with some of the partners, we are working on games. Like we recently made Texas Hold'ems, and we
Okay.
it's a lot of blind people are really excited and enjoyed playing it. So, for example, we're imagining how what if blind people do the multi playable games in their home, competing each other through a tactile screen and also sounds and also talking. So, we see so many potential on this. And also recently we also had a project with Toyota in Japan. Akio Toyota, the chairman of Toyota, actually wanted the racing games accessible to blind people. So we actually created a solution for racing games. So with commentary voice, you hear all the what's going on the circuit, and you can feel where the car is on the dot pad, and you can track the record. So dot pad is like a monitor that we see every day. So it's different sizes, different purposes, more variety of purposes. But Monarch is specifically for education and more complete device, more advanced device for.
But are they also using your work with the AI layer and the smart canvas and these things? Is that included in their OS as well?
I think in the future it will be integrated, but at this moment, it's a big project, so I think we have a full schedule to support K-12 education. So, that's kind of first priority right now.
So I know we're running out of time. I know there's a lot of people that are really interested in these products and in what you're doing and in the advancements and how quickly things are happening. I guess my question is, how do you think of your market and how do customers get a hold of these things? Because if I understand your strategy, the DotPad or the Monarch, but they're being, you get them through educational organizations or other types of distributors, not direct to customers. And so how does a customer, if they're interested, get their hands on getting one of these?
So I think the Monarch is also they are focused on education market. The DotPad is more variety of the contents and also other entertainment functionality that we have. So usages, so that basically we are also targeting not only the education but also rehabilitation and job access and entertainment market. So we are targeting so many different types of the rehabilitation centers and also the B2B the customers. For example, blind people and blind employees, they are working in the company, and then they have to work with their colleagues based on the Microsoft Office tools and documentation tools. So I think the DotPad is more like working with the distributors for the B2B and rehabilitation market for the blind employees and the people. So yeah, that's the one strategy. And also in the future, we love to make the DotPad the price dramatically affordable for the every individual blind users. So I think in the future we can also provide the DotPad with a really lower price for individual blind people, and also even we can provide the subscription model, like a rental service for the lower the barrier of the price, so that we hope that we can actually provide the DotPad to individuals.
Yeah, and then the B2C to market, that would be great. I mean,
Yeah.
so many people would love this. It looks like I know we're almost out of time. I want to thank you both, Eric and Key. This is really interesting. I know there's going to be a lot more updates. I think probably a lot of people in the audience are interested. I think everyone should, feel free to reach out to us if people have questions, and we can certainly keep this discussion going. And yeah, thanks to you both, and thanks to everybody at PsychTech Global. And back to you, Alice.